There's a fascinating folktale from South Africa about shame, transformation, and what it means to be seen. Like most Cinderella stories, which is what it is, it's Nya-Nya Bulembu, or the Moss Green Princess. There's a princess named Katila, and her father is the chief, but he has many wives, and he doesn't like her mom or her, and treats them worse than all the others. He has another daughter named Macmillan, who's the daughter of his favorite queen, and she gets everything she wants. She's not mean like a lot of stepsister characters. She and Katila get along and they're happy, and people like Katila even though the dad won't let her wear beautiful clothes and treats her badly. So he wants to humiliate her further, specifically so that everyone would be frightened of her and no prince would ever love her. So there's a creature that lives in this area called the Nya-Nya Bulembu, and it's this big green swamp creature. Its name means apparently despised one who is covered in moss, and so the king wants to kill it and make his daughter wear its skin so people will shun her like they shun the monster. Just a very specific form of humiliation. The king sends his men out to kill it, but he only wants one with like the longest teeth and claws, so they call out to a couple other Nya-Nya Bulembus, but they are missing teeth or their claws aren't as long, and they finally get one they want. They catch it by leaving out food for it, and when it comes out to get it, they take it alive and rush back to the village and saying, "Get all your assegais ready, the Nya-Nya Bulembu is coming," and all the men come out with spears and like meet it with spears and kill it. They take it to the tent of Katila and her mom, like, "We're gonna skin this and make your daughter wear it," but as soon as they cut it open, all of these beads and beautiful jewels come out, even beautifully woven mats. It just keeps coming and coming, and it doesn't stop coming out until they pull the skin off, and then it stops. And they put the skin and the teeth and claws on the princess, and the instant it touched her, it fitted as if it were a part of her. It actually transforms her. In a lot of Cinderella stories, they have to wear dirty clothes, they have to hide in animal skins, but in this one, it becomes a part of her, and she looks like a fairy beast. So the plan works, everyone's frightened of her, kids aren't allowed to play with her, except the nice sister, Macmillan, the favorite sister, she still plays with her. And so years go by, they grow into teenagers. There's gonna be this feast of the fresh fruits, and the day before it, when everyone's preparing, the two girls are out by the water, and a flock of pigeons swoops down, picks up the beautiful princess, Macmillan, and carries her away. And they leave our girl alone because she's a green monster. They don't want her. Apparently they want pretty girls. Everyone sees this happen and they run after the princess and they're like, "No, the birds took the princess." But the birds just take her away, and they finally put her in the kraal of another very great king in another land. And he is so impressed with her and thinks she's so beautiful, he marries her. So she ends up having this great life that she's apparently happy with this other king in another nation. But her family does not know that. Everyone thinks that she got carried off and she's dead, and they hate our girl even more for being there and watching it and not getting taken instead. So they never even call her Katila anymore. They call her Nya-Nya Bulembu. She's crying to her mom one day. She's like, "Why was I even born?" But the mom reminds her, remember, when they caught the Nya-Nya Bulembu, all of the great things that came out of it, that means it must be good somehow, and this will turn out okay. Then comes the part in every Cinderella story where there's some kind of divine or magical intervention, and in this case, it's a random old man. Her job is to wave a stick and keep birds from eating all of the stuff in the field. The old man comes up to her and says, "Here, take this stick. When you wave it, all the birds are just gonna fall down dead. And also, if you're holding it when you go into water, you'll resume your true shape again." So she tries it out and it works. She kills all the birds that are trying to eat the crops, and then she goes into the water, and as she walks in holding the stick, her skin melts off and she becomes herself again. And then all of these fairy creatures appear and they play with her and give her company. Also, one of the ways they're mistreating her is they're feeding her with the dogs, like scraps, and so the fairies bring her fresh food to eat, so she's not starving. When she comes back out of the water, she's back to being the monster again. She tells her mom about it and she's like, "Let's not tell anyone, let's see what comes of this." So secretly she goes to transform and have good company and eat food and feel like herself again every once in a while. And then when another feast of the fruits is happening, a prince from another city comes by and sees her. We are told that he is known in his country for being incredibly wise and having good judgment. He first sees her as the monster and is just interested, but then when he sees her get into the water and change, he's like, "Oh, she's beautiful." And then she sings the story of her life, just for fun, to the other fairies, and he suddenly feels for her as well, and he wants to marry her. So he goes to her dad and says, "I want to marry your monster daughter." King is confused, but he's like, "Okay," and so the prince, to show his respect, shows up with like a whole head of cattle. Before the wedding, he has to formally meet her, and so he goes to her mother's tent, and they both wait for her to show up. And when she shows up, she's looking like the monster. She almost doesn't go inside because she's like, he's definitely gonna regret this decision. But she goes inside, looking like the monster, and green skin and all, he receives her kindly and says, yeah, I love you, I want to marry you. And she's like, okay, and they set the wedding for the next day. Now, after that has happened, she goes out to the water the next day, the day of the wedding, and when she gets into the water this time, the green skin not only falls away, but it floats away on the water and then straight up into the air. She comes out of the water no longer Nya-Nya Bulembu, but Katila, her father's daughter, her mother's daughter. She shows up for the wedding and everyone's astonished by her beauty, except, of course, the prince. And it's interesting that he didn't have to search for her with a small slipper or anything. He already knew who she was, and he wanted to have her for who she was from the start. And that is what helped her truly transform back into herself. So they live happily ever after, but the king, who was evil to her in the first place, gets punished by never hearing of the happiness of his other daughter. He just assumes her dead and dies sad about that, even though it's not true. So that's his punishment. I just kind of hope Katila eventually somehow knows the truth, like maybe the fairies told her or something, because they were friends and she doesn't deserve that. But it's such a beautiful, rich story, and it shows why Cinderella stories are some of the main ones that we keep sharing over and over and remaking again and again, because we love this idea of someone seeing us for who we truly are, even when we maybe can't still see the beauty ourselves.